Hello everybody! Today we are playing Megabonk, and I think we're going to be playing some Calcium. Do we have any weapons we want to unlock with him? Banana rank, sniper rifle, axe, tomes, XP tome, thank you very much. We'll be grabbing that. We don't have many silver points left. Anything. Attraction tome. Dude, I'm such a fan of pickup range. Also, that was a bug. But I know it's not necessarily the best. We probably should get the key. I know this can make early game really easy, but eventually we'd want the idle juice. Excuse me, because it adds like a kind of multiplier that nothing else adds, but regardless, we'll get back around to that. Today we are going to be, hopefully, beating the tier 2, and then we can actually get into the challenges. This will be the final non-tier 3 run, or the final episode of non-tier 3 runs. We might do 2 runs this episode, who knows. But from there, we will only be doing tier 3 runs until we go to a new map. We'll get the early proj count. I need to be mindful of, we don't have skips or banishes, so I need to play accordingly. We also should probably have a general idea of what we want. So because we have the bone that has projectile count, it has chaining slash bouncing, we ideally like things that scale with it. So we wouldn't want to grab aura, which is going to scale with size, whereas our bone won't necessarily scale with size, right? So we're looking for things like proj count, damage, crit chance. Attack speed would be okay, but ideally I'd have proj count. We're not going to be focusing on any kind of difficulty scaling. Honestly, I don't even know if I should have grabbed XP scaling because we're not going for a super late game attempt. See, this is bad. Oh, we have one skip because I don't want any of these. Get me out of here. Proj speed, you can make an argument for, like, oh, it lets it deal its damage faster, which is in its own way kind of a vector of scaling. Is that how you would use vector? I'm not entirely sure. But it should be okay. Usually we use the term bucket, right? Like, attack speed and proj count are kind of the same bucket, but they are multiplicative with each other up into a cap, so they're different buckets, but they do accomplish the goal of, like, getting your more attacks out quicker, right? Because double proj count is effectively times 2 attack speed for a basis of 1, right? Because if you shoot out 1 projectile and then you double how many projectiles you shoot out, that's times 2. We've been over this. We're not going to go through this again. But those have to be effective. You can shoot out as many projectiles as you want, but if the enemy is able to kill you before you can kill the enemy, well then, or before they even take damage, then you have a projectile speed issue. None of your damage is effective because you're not meeting a threshold that needs to be met. You basically need enough projectile speed to make sure that when the enemies are really fast, you have the ability to deal damage to them. Now, this bone upgrade, an amazing upgrade, truly amazing. However, we want to make sure that we get useful tomes, so we are going to sacrifice upgrade for now because we know we're going to get more bone upgrades in the future to lock in a useful tome. A useful tome is very good. Now, I picked shield earlier, why did I not pick shield again? That's because 5 shield can take infinite damage. We don't care about the shield itself. We care, or rather, we only care about the shield itself, not the amount that we have on the shield, because the shield has to kind of build up anyways. Now this is amazing, and honestly I'm probably just gonna grab it flat out. I was thinking that the other one would be better because it's like, oh, we don't need that much scaling, but in general luck scaling is just so good, and I need to force myself to actually open chests. So we are going to do that. We are going to open chests. We will not fall prey to the Apothos ADHD tax. All right, it's funny because I had an appointment with my ADHD doctor this morning. Dude, imagine, my biggest fear is they're like, oh, you're functioning better, right? Because you've been on Adderall, you're functioning better, so we're gonna take you off the Adderall. It's like, wait, this whole operation was your idea. That's the reason I'm doing better. Although, I've talked about it before on the main channel, right? If you're new, I struggle pretty hard with ADHD. You'll notice I lose my train of thought a ton. I always have. I'm horrible at paying attention to things and staying on one track, and my prescription helps me out a ton with that. But it's always my fear is they'll be like, oh, your medicine's helping? Well, guess you don't need it anymore. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense to me. But I know it's complicated because I think anyone on this kind of medication at times can feel like, am I only me because of medication? And I don't like thinking that. I don't think anyone does, because then it's like, how am I any different than an addict or someone abusing it? But I also think the difference is like, there's nuance, right? Like someone who doesn't need it using it versus someone who you have a medical doctor being like, you clearly are struggling, and this helps you with the struggle. You're using this to help you, you know, work and do these other things, etc., etc., right? Does that make sense? I don't know. We won't talk about it too much. We'll focus more on the game, but it's just something that's always like close to my heart, and I do end up talking about things like that kind of often. All right, Lightning Staff, Fire Staff, Aura. So Fire Staff and Lightning Staff both scale projectile. They don't scale projectile speed. Well, Fire Staff does. There's no bounce modifier necessarily. They would scale with attack speed. They would scale with damage. I mean, both of these seem like good options. I don't love the Fire Staff generally speaking, so I think we'll take the Lightning Staff. I think Lightning Staff is generally pretty good. So Lightning Staff, it will be. We'll get the Stone Golem down, and we're having a pretty good run so far. I'm not too upset with it. Have I been forgetting to open chests because I've been rambling about Adderall? Yes, I have. Dude, the word Adderall is such a... I don't want to say disgusting word, but I feel like it has so much... how do I say? Like, it has so much of a stigma behind it. But one of the things, like, frustrates me a lot is people are like, oh, you so in other words, you talk fast is because you're on, you know, whatever. It's like, brother, I've struggled with talking fast my entire life. It is an active effort to try not to talk fast. I'm going to tell one more story about this before I completely give it up, which is that in one of my early appointments with my like ADHD doctor, I've had a few in the past, they were like, you seem kind of frantic, like you speak really fast and you're kind of over explaining a lot of stuff. And I had to look at her and be like, that's me. That's just me. My father is also a patient of hers, and it's part of like how I was able to find a good doctor is because he recommended her. And he was able to vouch for me. It's like, he's only gotten on medication for, you know, once he was 20 years old or whatever. The first 20 years of his life, he talked even faster, if you'd believe it. So it's just a funny little joke, because I don't know. I think yapping was a phrase that became kind of popular a few years ago, right? It's like, blood's just yapping or whatever it was. And it annoyed me because I've always loved talking. I'm a big talker. It's why I try to make my videos talking. I don't like videos with a lot of downtime. I don't like videos with a lot of edits, so I'm trying to think here. Obviously, crit damage is better. My brain has like default things of what it knows is good and bad. And in a lot of times, size is a very good stat, but for the kind of build we are going, it is just not particularly useful. I'd rather just make sure we're strong than we're scaling. I think that strength will lead to scaling here because we don't have to super min-max everything. Man, luck is just so good though. You know what I mean? Now, we don't have a lot of AoE per se, and I would love to get some. I think our main ways of kind of getting AoE are going to be a second chance is really good, but man, another credit card is just too good. Another credit, we actually just need to get opening chests. I've still not been opening enough chests. Zerordo is great because a second chance again is just like a dream scenario. We also, this is so good by the way, we also need to make sure that we have found the boss chest. One thing I love about fast speed characters, boss chest, boss shrine. One thing I love about fast speed characters is the, like, how quickly you can open up the map. It's so nice. I'm gonna start taking a little bit of XP just because we have a lot of XP coming in, but I mean, I need to kind of scale the base on my weapons too, because I mean, this is such an insane stat because you're going from hitting one enemy, right? And with 2 projectiles, you're hitting 2 enemies. But then if each of those projectiles bounce once, you're hitting 4 enemies. And then if you have 3 projectiles bouncing 2 times, you're hitting 6 enemies. No, 9 enemies, because the base hit, then 1 bounces 3 more, then another bounces 3 more. So like this stat increase here, the count and the bounce, is actually just so insanely good. You go from hitting... so +1 or a single proj. Would this be normally 0 or 1? We'll say it's normally 0. So we go from 0 to 1. So we have 2 projectiles, right? And each of those projectiles are bouncing 1. So we go from 4 enemies getting hit to now we have 3 projectiles and each one is bouncing twice. So we go from 4 enemies hit to 9 enemies hit because we have the initial bounce from 3 to 6 and then 6 to 9. So it's just... it is an amazing number. If you see like the count and the bounce, it's so incredibly nice. We'll keep upgrading percentage right now because it's giving us the purple ones. We're not going to take any boss shrines. Again, we're not going for like a super crazy in-game run here. Movement speed is generally good, but I'd rather have a little bit of survival. Movement speed is amazing. HP regen is usually just absolutely trash, and I don't plan on taking it too much. What am I saying? Pause. I'm going to repeat what I just said because I lost my train of thought halfway through it. Movement speed is an amazing stat, one of the best stats in the game, especially on like really big maps like the Graveyard, right? Well, the only really big map right now. It's an amazing stat. This character already has a lot of movement speed, especially because we lack friction. This style of character being like Calcium, Tony McZoom, there might be another, but these characters that are on like skateboards or don't need to interact with the ground, in the air you have no friction. So having no friction means you can continuously build momentum via like kind of manipulating your camera and stuff. I'm not the best at it right now, but the general idea should go through. But HP or Gen I feel like is normally such a useless stat. You'd much prefer lifesteal, but because we're not going for a super huge run, we already have enough movement speed kind of to navigate the map. I'm going to take Proj speed just for the bones to be a little bit faster. We have really good luck scaling. I think this is the better option in every other world, except we're just trying to make sure we win at all costs. We're foregoing kind of any late game scaling because I don't think the enemies are going to be getting fast enough for us to need to worry about the alternative. Now, I will say, because we have 3 credit cards, we just need to multiply keys. Keys. Now, there is a graph, and I need to include it at some point in a video or go over it maybe at the end of a video and kind of explain how Megabonk stats work, because it's not like, oh, if you get 10 keys, you have a 100% chance to get a chest for free. If you get 10 keys, you can open every chest for free. That's not how it works. It's not how it works at all, unfortunately. But it is still a massive help. It has very diminishing returns, so I think the ideal amount is to get around, it's either like somewhere between 6 to 8. I normally always shoot a little over it just to be safe in case something's wrong. This is really good, but I would like more base damage. We're having a little bit of trouble killing enemies. All right. I'm sure we had other chests or other microwaves, which would be good, but I just need to open up some more chests right now. I'll check right up here and see if there's any microwaves. If there's any microwaves, we'll go ahead and get one more going. We do have a magnet shrine, which would be really good just to be able to consolidate all of our XP. Swarm incoming, we should be okay. If we're not okay on the swarm, then I don't know what to say. We'll focus on some more like bounce, proj count, and stuff like that, but this kind of build does, generally speaking, do really well. The ogre upgrade is unlocked to goblins. Interesting, I didn't know that. Normally, bounce and projectile count builds, I mean, especially anything with bounce, does really well against big hordes of enemies. Keep scaling bounce. In fact, even for some things you would like to have, I'm not going to grab this in front of me actually because I want to keep the current music. It sometimes is more beneficial to have 2 bosses rather than 1 for characters like Tony McZoom. That way his projectiles can bounce back and forth. It would be the same logic for the bones. I don't know if the lightning can do that. Big Bonk, oh man, the game is allowing me to atone for my sins. What a dream situation we are in. Bounce and damage, we'll take it. And we're just focusing on, even though they're green upgrades, we're just taking them because they help us out so incredibly much early. I mean, we are on a, pardon my French, we're on a hell of a run here, boys. We are doing a-okay for ourselves. We're going to try to keep it up. We got a merchant over here, so we'll go ahead and see what he has to offer us. Let us check. Oh, nothing great. I probably would take Borger just because it has got me out of a few sticky situations in the past, and I think ultimately it is a pretty good decision. Now, I will make sure that at around 1 minute 30 seconds, I will try my best to make sure that we do head over to the boss shrine, because I would rather lose some time and make sure we have enough time to kill the boss, because I'm not super sold on how good my single target DPS is. I don't have a banish, so we just have to take it, unfortunately. I'm not super sold on how good my single term DPS is. My single target DPS. We are going to, again, just focus on this damage. Okay, single target DPS is okay. I do think ultimately we would be better getting 1 boss curse shrine just so the bone projectiles can bounce back and forth between the 2. Because think about it. If you have... Well, I'm thinking on it. Give me a second. Yeah. If you have 4 projectiles and they eat, or if you have a projectile that can bounce 4 times, you're dealing double damage compared to anything under if you have 2 bosses. Because if you have 1 boss and you have 3 bounces, or we'll say 2. If you have 1 boss and you have 2 bounces, it's bouncing from the boss to an enemy and then usually to another enemy or something. But if you have more than 3 bounces, because if you have 2 bosses and 3 bounces, only 1 enemy is getting hit twice per projectile. You want both bosses to be getting hit twice per projectile. We need to start this. But if you have 4, then they're each getting hit twice per projectile. You should see some bones kind of going back and forth between the 2, if my theory is correct here. Now, I don't necessarily know this because I'm seeing a lot go in other directions, so maybe I'm entirely wrong on this front, but the theory does sound where if you have one projectile that cannot bounce and it hits a boss, that's you've dealt damage one time. If you have a projectile that can bounce and you have two bosses, you can, with one projectile, deal equal damage to both those bosses. So you are now killing them each at the same rate you would kill one, right? There is theoretically no added time to kill the boss. If you have three or two projectile bounces now, one boss is taking double damage per projectile and the other one's just taking one. If you have 4 bounces, then you have each one taking double the damage from a single projectile than you would have had before. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I think that's a good enough explanation. Take the XP gain. Take probably again the XP gain. Let's get just a little bit greedy with it. I'm feeling good in terms of projectile count. I'm going to take a base damage upgrade, though. A blue base damage upgrade, I absolutely will take. I wish I had, like, the math in front of me for projectile count, where we know that +1 proj for 0 extra proj is a 100% damage increase. You get double damage. And then the second one is now giving you, we go from 100% damage to 300% damage, which in total, it's still adding that plus 100% value, but relatively, we go from 200% damage from +1 to 300% with +2, which is now only a 50% increase of damage. And then we go from 300% to 400%, which is only a 33% increase. So you kind of get diminishing returns. Now each one's adding 100%. It's just relative, right? You have an absolute gain of 100% DPS, but relatively compared to the last upgrade, you are getting less. So I'd love to see that in front of me again. We're going to go a little bit greedy with the XP gain here. Now we don't have Zorodo, so I don't plan to greed too much here. We're probably just going to dip out of here right before it gets to a minute and the harder enemies spawn. I'm just trying to greed and get as much XP as I possibly can. And we're just going to go and get out of here now. I just want to get these tier 2 runs done, brother. I'm good to get on out of here. Now, because of my boss curse theory, we should be good to grab this one. And that should give us more. We should be able to kill a single boss faster now than we could before, if my mental math checks out. Will it? I don't know for a fact. Grab the shrine. We don't have Slurp Gloves already, so we're going to take Slurp Gloves. Slurp Gloves are really good. It gives you permanent HP scaling, which is really good for synergy with Beefy Ring, but also it does just heal you up. Used to, we would banish every purple item we could just to stack credit cards. Now we leave the... last I checked on the meta, it's been a couple, maybe about 2 weeks since I last checked, but from what I remember, by now the only things we don't banish that are purple are going to be the ring and potentially the gloves. I know we get at least one glove, and the credit card itself. So that way we can ban more yellows, because there are a few yellows we don't want to stack, because now yellows have a lot more value. I will also just take the beer for a flat 20% damage upgrade. I'm not going to follow my instinct and grab the greed shrine. Everything in my body tells me grab the greed shrine. It gives you extra scaling, but no. If we see the monkey, we'll unlock the monkey. How does that sound? I'd be down for a monkey run. I absolutely adore the monkey as a character. It gives really, it's just fun, honestly. I was gonna say it gives like really good scaling. It doesn't give that great of scaling because it's just HP scaling. And I was trying to like kind of theory craft an HP stacker build, but I don't know if there's really I mean, the issue with an HP stacker build is, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think. We'll probably just take more shield, even though I don't fully agree with it. This is good because it kind of is the same theory as shield, where it gives you a free hit every occasionally. And that's what shield does effectively, is it gives you a free hit occasionally. What was I saying? Oh, we just already have ways of HP scaling, so it's hard to justify every build in a sense is an HP scaling build because of Beefy Ring and Slurp Gloves. Like, you're always going to see people stacking those, at least from the last I checked. I believe it's megabonk.fun is the leaderboard most people use. We're just going to keep scaling our damage here. I think we're in good shape as long as we, just stay focused. We should absolutely be able to beat this. Oh, chest. Dear God, I have to remember to grab chest. I can never remember to grab chest. How many microwaves do we have? 0 out of 2. So there are microwaves on this stage. Should I run around and try to find a microwave before we just go putting all of our money in the chest? We have 7 minutes. By all means, we should be able to, right? Unless they're like not the right type of microwave. We would need the common item microwave rather than like a rare, epic, or whatever microwave. Can I say one thing about this game? Love this game. 5 tiers of rarity, okay? We have common, we have rare, No, we don't have common. We do have common. We have common, we have uncommon, we have rare, we have epic, we have legendary, right? We need epic items. We don't have epic items for some reason. For items, we only have 4 tiers. I don't understand why, truth be told. See, this is what I'm talking about with single target damage. It does start to get a little bit sus. So I'm a little bit concerned, but for right now, we are okay. But we just really need to scale that damage. One of the things I think about is, like, how did I do on the first boss of the first stage? And, like, you get stronger as the first stage goes, kind of exponentially so, to where even if you don't have great damage for the first boss, you can have really good damage for the second or the final boss. So, fingers crossed that we are able to do that same thing here, where even though, that's such a bad legendary, where even though the first boss of the stage we encountered, we killed a little slowly, hopefully we can just kind of exponentially increase our damage. I mean, a second big bonk, and again, we have genie lamps, so we're lucky on that. If you didn't see the lucky explanation, please go check out the end of the last video. It'll help explain that a lot. We will probably take jump height for maneuverability here. I don't think duration affects how long our projectiles are in the air. Ooh, did I pass this by just like a big dummy dumb earlier? My apologies. Alright, we will get this, and then that should be enough keys. And then once we have enough keys, we can just go spam chest. And again, we absolutely love the swarm, right? I'll do everything I can to just kind of focus in on some proj and everything here, but I don't think I need to worry. If I need to worry, then the issue is not the swarm. The issue is where we are at. The issue is where we are at. They are just falling on our heads. That is the issue there, because for whatever reason, the way the targeting works, it has an insanely, incredibly difficult time. Also, 9 to 11 damage, base damage. I'm talking about two things at once. I need to pick one. If they are falling on our head, we have an incredibly difficult time actually targeting them. See how where they're not falling on our heads, we're having a much less difficult time, but we do have difficulty from where they're down here and we're not hitting them. We kind of need them all on the same Z level? I don't know. My brain goes to Minecraft where Y is up and down, but I think that for generally speaking, this would be the Z level, right? I don't know. And then 9 to 11 damage as a base damage is actually just flat out like a, what? That if it was 8 to 10, that'd be 20% damage upgrade, so a little less than 20% damage upgrade. This is just an incredibly big lightning damage upgrade because we have all these multipliers on that, but what number are they multiplying? It's your base damage. So upgrades to base damage are basically like true damage upgrades. It's a really, really good feeling. We're going to go for just more damage and stuff right now. Those are the, I think I covered both things there I was interested in covering. Alright, we'll keep spam opening chests. We have 7 keys, so we should be good. I don't think we have Kevin unlocked, so these damage, when you take damage items, are a little bit useless, but that's okay. By all means, we should be good on kind of the AoE front now. Right now, we just need to spam chest, spam chest, spam chest. Open every chest we can because that's going to increase our luck. Increasing our luck is going to increase what stats we're offered, what our items are offered, everything like that. Honestly, we could turn on the auto item thing, which I'll turn on just to show you guys because we can't banish anything, so there's no real reason not to. If you want to save time, you can turn on skip chest animation. What this does do is make it to where if you have banishes or skips, you can't use them. You should, generally speaking, try to save your banishes for chest. You should try to banish bad items out of your chest to thin your potential pool whenever you get a certain rarity, right? So the way I believe it works is irrelevant to whether you have 20 legendaries and only 1 epic, 1 common or uncommon. It doesn't mean that, you know, out of a pool of 24 that you're going to almost always now get a legendary. The way the game should work, and there's no guarantee this is how it works, but the way it should work is that you first, the game uses your luck to determine the rarity tier. Then things like your banishes come into play. Okay, so we have 5 of 7 epics banished, so now we have a higher chance of getting the epics we want. But we don't have a higher chance of getting an epic or a higher chance of getting a legendary because now there's only 2 epic options rather than 7. So whenever it does the initial roll, I don't think it works like that. I don't think it does an overall pull from an entire pool because I don't see how luck could really affect it in that sense. Then we got a Santa hat. But I could be wrong. It might. It just, that doesn't make much sense to me. I feel like by all means it should do the rarity pool and then it will check, you know, what do you have banished, etc., etc. But I could be wrong. I don't know if there's been any actual clarification on that. That's just my assumption. Oh, and the skip chest opening, it will make it to where we just now instant open chest. So it's a lot faster in terms of getting things done. It helps me a lot whenever I do end up getting all my banishes through. Now that can take us some time sometimes in certain runs, but it helps me a lot because I don't get as distracted. Sometimes that cutscene will just pull me out of the game and I will just forget what I am doing at any given moment. Like right now, I know that I need to go through and just spam open chest, and that, by God, that's what we're doing. We also have the pink chest up here, which is going to be a free chest that we dropped via a challenge shrine or something along those lines. You see these free procs, they give you the chest, but they also keep your chest price from increasing. Fun fact about the pots on the map, which are these little suckers right here. We also don't have the silver pots enabled. I probably should enable those, but my bad. The pot value increases the more chest, it goes up with your chest cost. Merchant price also goes up with your chest cost. So both of those, opening more chests can set you at a disadvantage, but the game does give you a way to kind of make that money back, where by opening more chests, your future chests cost more, your future merchants cost more, but your future pots on the map give you more, the future containers. I need to lock in for a moment. I'm a little confused on what I'm doing. I feel a little zoned out. Right now, honestly, I feel like we are good. I don't know. I'm a little concerned, but I think we should be good by all means. I don't have enough money to... Well, I can open one more chest and see if we get the free and just go from there. But after that, we need to go check out what all these greens are. Magnet Shrine would be huge because right now we should have a ton of XP sitting around the map, so that should be able to be a ton of upgrades. We're just going to go big on damage. We're basically at the end of the run here. We're just going to go big on what gives us the most damage possible. The reason we didn't take the red there was because I think that the damage for both weapons will outdo that upgrade for a single one, but I could be wrong. But I think that just getting percent damage and base damage is going to be kind of our dream here. I think a purple percentage increase of damage is going to be better than a green flat damage, especially because it's only like less than a 10% for it in terms of the base damage. This is a blue one from around 19 to 22, so 20 to 22 would be 10%, but it's a little bit more than that, so it's a little bit better than the 10% upgrade. I don't think we need more AoE right now. I really don't, but I mean, XP gain still helps us get more levels, and more levels are still useful right now, but that's only because the other two options there were pretty bad. That's an amazing item. That's a really good item. So the bomb gives us pretty big AoE. Now, we didn't necessarily need AoE, but it absolutely is very helpful in terms of just dealing more damage. And then the Thunder Gloves every however often, I can't remember off the top, I can pause and check, I suppose, every 10 seconds. It does a really big burst of damage. It's rather nice. So we got our Stone Golems here. I'm going to keep trying to open chests as we go. Stone Golems, their attacks will always follow you, so as long as you just kind of keep holding forward and don't backtrack, you're going to be okay. You're going to be just perfectly fine, just one step at a time, and it won't cost you a dime, okay? So you can just go in a circle like this. It's the Chunk Cam you need to be careful of that, because he predicts your movement. So whenever you're up against him, it can get a little, you know, but by all means, we should be okay. We're going to... Oh, I can't open any more chests. All right. We're gonna go summon the boss. We're at a minute 30. We are going to summon the boss. We're not going to go for the purple boost over there because I think it might even just be gone by the time we get to the boss. We're just going to go for it and hope that this is it. This is a moment of truth. I didn't love our DPS for the Stone Golems, I won't lie. The final boss, I believe, does kind of a mixture of their attacks. I believe the final boss can predict where your attacks are going. So I'm not even going to look at their health. I'm just going to focus on dodging because I know nothing can really get to us but the boss. So as long as I'm careful to dodge here, we should be okay. Having incredibly high movement speed does help a ton with dodging. It's why in games like League of Legends and such, your movement speed is actually one of your most important stats in the game. We do have a little bit of an issue now. Remember how we talked about the Z-axis, where that Z-axis, it can be really hard to kind of damage things that are off track with it because of where they were stuck and they were kind of stacking on top of each other. We're just going to take this. Because of where they're stuck and they're just kind of stacked on top of each other, the stuff isn't bouncing between them. They're like too far away. So we're getting really screwed on our damage here because of that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate how our boss shrine was just stuck here. I'm sorry, it's really stupid. Now, I just jumped into them. Slowly but surely they will start to... They're just on top of each other. What a nightmare. What a nightmare we have found ourselves in. I'm just kind of picking stuff. I mean, we should be okay. But what is he doing? Bro, come down. Man is higher than a kite. What is his problem? He's bonked out of his mind. See that shield there, by the way, just saved us. I don't think so because we don't have a ton of difficulty, but there's a world where that could have just one-shot us. Alright, well, Forest Tier 2 complete. Robinette unlocked. Robinette is an amazingly fun character. I think she has so much potential, man. Having basically infinite gold and a way to infinitely scale damage. Now, I say infinitely scale damage, for all I know, there's such an aggressive curve on it that it is so much worse than other like characters who get crit chance or damage or other forms of scaling. Like, I don't know the math. I'd love to know the math, but I don't. So, you know, it's a thing where it could be amazingly, insanely overpowered, or it could be really bad. And because I don't think I've seen her on the leaderboard since she was nerfed, it might be really bad, but I don't know. I feel a sneeze building up, but it won't come out, and that is just not a fun feeling. I can't leave the stage, right? There's no tier 3 to go to, I believe. Yeah, no, we can't. What are we at? We're at 30 minutes. I think this is a single run. I think this is a good single run episode. We'll go into it. My guess is about 2 minutes, 30 seconds. I think 2 minutes will start to overwhelm us, and then we'll probably try to run a bit, and then from there it's just a GG. I think. That's my guess. In the meantime, we can go check out all the other stuff on the map. Don't particularly care about the blue upgrade, the blue dabba-dee-dabba-doo. We can grab this just to get it off my map so I don't circle back around to it. Oh, monkey. Come here, buddy. We have unlocked the monkey. Very nice, very nice. Alright. I'm trying to think of where to go next. We'll take gold again because I'd like to open more chests. Alright, we're not going down, so we're going to go up and over, I do believe, and that should end up working out. We're recording earlier in the day today as well, so I feel much more... Would cerebral be the right word? I don't feel like I'm struggling nearly as bad with what I'm saying or what I'm doing as I did in the last episode. So I'm very happy with that. I was very concerned. Maybe it's just because I've been out of the habit of consistently recording for a while that I was losing my train of thought so much. We'll see how the quality is in about a month. Give me a month. Look. Give me a month. We'll see where we're at, okay? And then from there, we'll make any changes needed. But for right now, let's just be bonking it. Let's just bonk my... Can I say French again? Probably not. Bonk my blink. For real. Puts 2 fingers on bend of arm. Sheesh. Or underside of elbow. Underside of elbow doesn't feel okay to say. I don't know why. I've never heard someone say underside of elbow. It's like the inside of your elbow. I don't know. But I'm not gonna worry too much about it, guys. What a good run. Let's see where we ended up. We'll check stats before we end the video because I think it is good to be able to learn. We got silver, and that could have been a lot more silver, truth be told, if I had the silver pots unlocked, but oh well. We got some good items here. Weapon slot is absolutely massive. Demonic Soul is really good just for getting some damage. I don't keep it on in most runs, but it should by all means just be good. Echo Shard, an amazing item. I am a big fan of it. Santa Hat, I honestly don't even know what you do. Admittedly, Wireless Dagger, I love this thing for Tony McZoom. It in general is like not the best item because of how it scales. You do have to have that proj speed to be able to hit the enemies and make the most out of it because the enemies get so fast. Skips are amazing. Robinette is so fun. Monkey is so fun. Let's check our damage. All right, so I care more about DPS than total damage, and this is things like, I cannot believe that Power Gloves did this much DPS. Why did the Power Gloves do this much DPS? Why did the Big Bonk do so little? What do you mean level 4? I had 2 Big Bonks. Did I have 4 Power Gloves? I don't think I had 4 Power Gloves. See, this is where I get a little confused. Everything tells me Big Bonk. So, you know, Big Bonk's damage is kind of related to my bone damage, which is really low, and my lightning staff damage, which is really low, because this is just a multiplier on these. So this would deal more if these dealt more, because these don't deal more. This isn't dealing that much. Meanwhile, Power Gloves might deal damage based on my level, because that's how some of these things work. Like Slurp Gloves deals damage based off your level rather than your weapon damage, right? Spicy Meatball deals damage based off your weapon damage. Thunder Mitts, I don't know, to be honest with you. Electric Plug is one of the best items in the game if you have Kevin. It's just almost a free win at that point. Again, it depends how you define win. Bone and Lightning Staff, by the way, Fire Staff would have done about as much as Bone, I think. Just not amazing weapons by any means. Now, also, admittedly, are they meant to do a ton of DPS, or are they meant to get big AoE? And that's a question you've got to ask yourself, because they have so much AoE scaling. They don't have crit chance scaling. I mean, like, they can crit, but they don't have the levels themselves giving crit chance. They instead focused more on AoE, which worked out. AoE is really good to just be able to kind of guarantee a win, but it's not going to do a ton for you whenever it comes to super endgame, because the way you get basically AoE super endgame is by having a ton of size, to where your stuff just hits everything, and a ton of proj. I mean, you obviously will get these things as you go, but regardless, I think that's about as much as we need to see. I feel pretty good about that. Look at that little baby burp there. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's try that again. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. One more time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Oh, that fun stuff. I still messed it up. But, have a good everybody. One more time. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you... Why am I messing up there? We're going to keep doing this. I don't care how stupid it makes me. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Am I trying to speak too fast? It's a fun joke to me to do it as fast as possible, make it incoherent, but my mouth can't keep up with it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. What is wrong with me? We're going to do it slow. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And yeah, have a good one, everybody. Take it easy.